Hello everyone, welcome. I'm excited to share this gene key gate with you. We're talking about gene key 62 today, which is transiting from July 13th to the 18th, 2023. Before I dive in, just a couple things. I've decided to start offering for the rest of this year 33% off my human design readings, in which, if you'd like, I can go into your gene keys as well in that. So that coupon code is below. It's Spirit33. I'll drop the link there so you can book that if you're interested. What else? I'm just going to leave it at that today. So 62. I was actually very excited when I saw gate 62, and I'm going to offer a little piece of light language for you at the end of gate 62. Light language is a high frequency code language that can come through either verbally, through your voice, through your hands, and also just simply energetically. This is something that I started channeling, transmitting a few months ago, which was a bit of a surprise to me. And I use it mostly for my own healing. So stick around till the end, because this is what Gene Key 62 is all about. Richard Rudd calls it the language of light. So when I saw that, I didn't realize that this Gene Key, that's what it holds. And I have this gene key and gate active. It's actually in my North Node. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I think I'll do a little light code transmission at the end, or activation, or blessing. All right, let's start. So gate 62 is in the throat and is connected to the ajna via gate 17, and it's in the collective logic circuitry. It's all about planning and organization and about being confident in your planning ability, this channel of formulation or acceptance. The quantum human design language name of gate 62 is preparation, and the traditional name is details. So the transit right now is highlighting the need for us to cultivate trust for the next step, to be present in the moment, and to know that fear and worry can kind of come up whenever we're planning for the future. But instead of it like taking over and feeling trapped by that fear or worry, to lean into it, just as I think it's vital to do with any emotion that arises, to lean into the fear of worry so that it transmutes instead of taking over. Because the more we push emotions aside, or frequencies aside, the stronger they get. They get like dammed up, especially emotions, just like water gets dammed up, and then the force of them gets stronger and stronger. On the shadow side of this gate, we have fear, worry, which can result in over preparation or following a plan too closely instead of being in flow with what arises in the moment. And so on the fullest expression of this gate, you'll find the balance to be able to be in tune with being prepared, while also going with the flow, being able to shift and pivot depending on what arises, and to lean into this relaxation and trust that you'll know what you need to know when you need to know it. My partner and I are heading down to Mexico at the end of August. We're selling all of our stuff and heading down there, and there's this part of me that goes, I need to learn Spanish now. And then there's this other part of me that goes, I know I'm going to learn it when I'm there. I know it's just going to become a part of my system the more that I'm around it. So I could worry about not knowing Spanish now, or I could practice when I need to, and then also lean into it occasionally and lean into the not knowing. On the gene key side of this, Richard Rudd calls it the language of light. And he talks about this gene key as kind of the bookend of the book of changes, where gene key 1 and 2 are like the prologue, and 63 and 64 are the epilogue. 62 acts as like a summary of everything that has come before it, and it's layer upon layer of coded information about the meaning and purpose of the cosmos. And it shows us the holographic language of creation, or the language of light. The shadow of this gene key is the shadow of intellect, which in our world we often confuse intellect with intelligence and understanding. Richard Rudd defines intellect as the skill of manipulating knowledge. And he talks about how often the more intellectual you are, the less intelligent you are, which is what we find in the schooling system. Schooling system makes us more intellectual than intelligent. It fills us with information and then teaches us how we should best describe that information. So we become quite sedated, and we don't know how to think necessarily from our heart. I do apologize if you hear dogs barking outside. The neighbors' dogs are having a field day right now. And so it's important to remember here that not all shadows are inherently bad or wrong, right? There's gifts in the shadows, but we need to use them in a way that doesn't suppress, shame, or control ourselves or other people. And so when intellect is used to uplift intelligence, it's absolutely brilliant. But currently it thinks outside of the box of intellect. There's some people view them in a scientific world is quite distorted in that it keeps new discoveries and manipulated. And this is intellect wanting to control the information that we hold. And so what can happen in this is that it results in us defending different views, where we turn inward and we focus on all the tiny little things, or we become lost in the mundane, tiny obsessions of life. Or we become pedantic, where we attack everything outside of ourselves to defend our insecurity. And there's this nonstop questioning. So the journey to the gift of precision is that you do the opposite of either being obsessive or pedantic. So either your mind comes alive again, and instead of being internally obsessive about the small things, you hold a bigger questioning. You question on a bigger level, as sometimes I think of it. You ask the questions up to source, as opposed to looking to the small details. Or on the other side of pedantic, your mind quietens. It gets quiet. This gift of precision is a balance that occurs between the heart and the mind, but it's where the heart is leading the way, not the mind. And it's the ability to truly see with your intelligence beyond the facts. For example, if you look at a tree, I was trained in forestry and plant and biogeoclimatic zone identification. And so I can look at a tree and know that it is a Douglas fir, which is a Pseudotsuga menzicii. I can, from that, look at potential, like I can take an educated guess about how old it is and what soil is underneath it. But with the gift of precision, I can feel in and see that tree as an intelligent being that has this amazing aura that I can sense. This is actually why I left forestry, because I couldn't just look at the forest from an intellectual standpoint of being logged for resources, because I could feel the trees and the forest all the time. So this is how, when we're in this gift of precision, that we see more deeply into the facts. And it's this ability to arrange facts that are inspiring and exciting for others. And it's a place where you tap into the gift of becoming a speaker, a writer, an artist, and where you're meant to be heard in what you have to share. And it taps into a frequency of communication versus a logical communication. There is a flow that goes with how you communicate versus I'm going to say this next and next. And it's a connection that we develop to a private inner language that wants to be expressed eventually through your voice, through light language or light codes. And I must say that before light language came through me, like verbally, I could feel something. I could feel that connection with the forest. I could feel this inner language that I didn't have words for. And I think, because I'm still playing with it, that these light codes are that inner sensing coming now out through my voice. The Siddhi is impeccability. And this is where words no longer come from the mind at all. In fact, it's almost as if where everything merges together. The good, bad, the ugly, it all just doesn't even matter or exist anymore. It's an all-seeing, all-knowing, all-nothingness. And there's nothing to explain because it's communicated through simple beingness. And this can be often misunderstood, I think, because there's very few beings, humans on the planet that have reached this Siddhic state. And so we're still thinking about it from this intellectual level, as opposed to an inner knowing that comes from an experience. And our minds create. So it's great to think about things about what that actually means. Okay, let's see. I'm going to channel some light language for you if you're still around. Ushkara wara ayase. Ishkoro yaskora a kurayame. Mina iskoro a sikarayate. Ashukara, shukara, shukara, sukoro. Aya sukoro, aya manaya shu sira. Aya shu sira, aya me. Kostoro, kostoro, kostoro se. Ushkira yao, ushkira yao. Ah, sakara, ushkro. Oshkro ayase. Kikstara ukstoro. Iaru. Iaruaya. Iaruayate. Ishkro, yishkro, yishkro. Ah, skuchtira. Ah, skukstira. Ah, sikro. Ayami. Ah, xiktro. Ayami. Ushkro ase, a thakara ya sukro, shikriya, iskara ya, ushkro, yushkro. Thank you for watching. If you like more light language, or if you'd like to share my story around it, drop a comment below and let me know and I will. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching.